People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back into man's Q&A and all of that. Obviously, as you know, Fridays is Q&A days. I've literally just got in from work. Again, you can see where my backpack has been creasing up my shirt, but Fridays equals Q&A days. People, first and foremost, forgive me if I've missed you out and stuff. Like, I'd like to say an apologies to, I believe, Alex Alert. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm sure in one of my comments time ago you said the key questions for this Q&A, and I swear down I spent a good hour trying to find your comment, but I couldn't find your questions in it. So don't think I'm doing you dirty. You lot know I'm a very real guy. If I owe you an apology, I owe you an apology. Which Alex Alert or whoever you are, wherever you are, I owe you an apology, because I can't lie, you're always in my comments and you support the thing hard, and without you lot, this thing can't go anywhere. But for the questions I do have, people, I can't lie, obviously, as you are at work in my lunch break, I had to write you lot's questions down on a quick thing. That's why I asked you lot for a deadline. Like, I give you lot a deadline so you can kind of throw me a bone sort of thing. And I sent myself a bunch of emails. Okay, the first email I'm going to is this one. Homer asks me, Lukaku's leaving Manchester United for Inter Milan reportedly because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't fancy him. Is this a good move considering they'll get 70 million, or is this all a bit too rash given the one okay-ish season? Good question, bro. Now, obviously, it's fun to banter fans about Lukaku and that and his touch and all them things, but this season weren't the most prolific of his. But if you look at his catalogue excluding this, like you said, he's had an okay season. He ain't been the best, but generally he's a goal scorer. Probably he's not quite the United striker, and if United was United of old, going back, let's say 11 years ago, like 08 or something, where you know things were patterned for United, they could have probably got away with him giving a bit more a bit more leeway sort of thing, but they're not in the position they are. At the end of the day, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't fancy him, he doesn't fancy him. It's an expensive hit. Personally, I can't see Inter Milan paying 70 million for him. I can't. I see more 50 or something, or structured payments. I can't see them giving back the money for Lukaku. And to be fair, to a degree, United must have known when they did that they weren't going to get the bread back for him. They were hoping he would hit the ground running. And like I said, there's a lot of criticisms about him, but he scores goals. They'd hope that could be the case. Maybe it is a bit too rash, but you'd have to watch United fans, and there's several underperforming players, several people that are sinking, players that just simply ain't good enough. Similar to us, they got to clean out and move forward with the very few players they can move forward with. United fans would have a more informed opinion of that than me, but thank you for your question nonetheless. My guy, I don't know what your actual name is. I couldn't make sense of your username, but I think your name is Jaffa. Forgive me, innit? You asked me my thoughts on Charlie Patino, sorry. He's a decent midfielder we signed from Luton Town in our academy. I really like him, man. I think he's quite cultured on the ball. He relishes the ball, can play in tight spaces. Decent engine. Obviously, he's a young man. He's got a lot of physical development, mental development to go through. But he's a very cultured player, man, and it's clear to see that he's got a decent future in the game if he keeps working hard. I've got a lot of time for Patino and players like that, man. Brandon asks, how nice is it as an Arsenal fan to constantly be linked with defenders, in particular two defenders? Assuming you're referring to Saliba and Kieran Tierney right now, of course it's lovely. My guy, if we really have a £45 million budget and it comes down to it, of course I would like more signings in advanced positions, but I believe a centre half and a left back would make me sleep easier at night. So I share your opinions, and that was mad. Apologies, people. I definitely share your opinion on that. Ljungberg has asked, what is Ljungberg's philosophy? Well, obviously he's probably still defining it as himself as he goes along. He's probably took a bit of Emery. He's played under Arsene Wenger. There's obviously other coaches in his personal life that have probably dictated the way he sees football. Obviously, he was assistant manager to Ljungberg as well when they both left to go to Wolfsburg, I believe. So he's picked up a bit of everything, man. He could have picked up stuff off his friends that are coaches, of other people. I think he likes to play forward football. One thing I like to see is that he likes his attacking players, specifically if you look at Amici, John Jules, and them players there. He likes his players involved in the build-up, but he likes his players in certain positions where they can hit the heaviest sort of thing. And I really like that, man, because that's encouraging for Amici, Saka, for example. These are players, if they develop, you'd expect to get a fairly decent amount of goals for their teams. To get goals, you've got to be in the decisive areas. It's all good being a lovely dribbler, set piece taker, and all these things, but sooner or later, goals and assists is what counts, people. And how many players have we seen and still seen the Prem that we talk about as being frustrating? I can think of two. Jordan Ibe, people were saying he's going to be better than Sterling and that, and he's a decent player, but he's incredibly frustrating because of decision making in the final third. Adama Traore, if Adama Traore was consistent in the final third, no disrespect to Wolves because they're doing some decent things, but would he be at Wolves, people? I strongly doubt it. He'd be at Barcelona or he'd be somewhere because he's got the pace and the technical ability. To a degree, Deulofeu. Some days Deulofeu and Watford fans will tell you he's unplayable. The others, he makes the wrong decisions at times, and the ones that have gone the flip side of that have been the ones to advance, people. So I think that's Ljungberg's sort of philosophy. He plays attacking football, in my opinion, and he promotes going forward, but he's also quite stable at the back, just based on what I've seen in the academy, man, with the injuries he's had and things like that at times is involved in the academy setup. So he's still defining it. I'm still trying to see where it is myself, but I think he'll be a fairly attacking sort of manager. And I think people get one thing in football. I believe in, when I say philosophy, I like attacking football, people. You don't know me, innit? Wenger managed the club as long as I've been alive until recently. There's no way I can watch Arsenal and not love attacking football. But I feel when people say philosophy, they immediately attach it to that. And then when it's a defensive thing, they say it's negative. And that's not necessarily wrong, but people can have defensive philosophies, people. I think that's not taken into account in general in football, my guy. So good question. Arsenal forever, AFC forever, apologies asked. Is Medley good enough for the first team right now? I don't think so, my guy. I think he's very cultured on the ball, and if that was it, then yes, but I think concentration and positioning, he's not quite there yet, to be fair. But what do I know? At the end of the day, it's not my opinion that matters, it's the club's. If the club said he's ready, he's ready. Emery's obviously week in, week out. I'd imagine he's training with the first team to some degrees under the eye of Emery and coaches and getting pointers. But me, I don't think he's ready, my guy. That's just my opinion, innit? Right now, I don't think he's ready. Papayas asked, since we clearly had a squad that didn't suit Emery, does the manager adapt to the personnel or do the personnel adapt to the manager? Great question, my guy. Bit of both. Now, Emery knew the task at hand. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get the money and sweep things up. He knew this wasn't going to be a quick fix. He knew the players that was at his hand. So coaching is a big part of it. There's no way around it. And just a general point, coaches have to bend to the players. There's no point trying to play. For Burnley, for example, obviously they can play way more attacking football under a different manager, but there's no point them trying to do things that the players just simply aren't capable of. So you do have to adapt. But at the same time, the players have to adapt. It's 50% people and everything. They have to meet you halfway. If the manager doesn't buy into the players, they'll quickly feed off into the players, and you'll see that in performances, people. And it works vice versa. If the players don't believe in the manager, as we've seen in several incidences, people, players won't fight for the gaffer. People underestimate the togetherness, chemistry, actually liking someone. Because think about it logically, people. If you like someone, you don't want to let them down. If you have a manager, we've all had managers at work that are pricks. You don't want to go the extra mile. But when there's a manager that's nice and he's not stuck up his bum and things, you don't mind going the extra way. Do you see it, people? And slowly and surely, Emery, when he gets his players, he'll introduce that. But it's a bit of both, my guy, man. Anyone, you could say it for any manager that comes in. Man, these guys ain't personnel. These guys ain't good enough to be footballers at times, my guy, man. So a great question. BJW, shout out to my guy, I actually know him. He's asked, what style of football would get the best out of the current crop of Arsenal players? Now, people can say what they want about Aubameyang, about Lacazette, if Ozil's still here, even Xhaka to a degree, but I do think we can play attacking football to a better degree than we are, people. Because at that time, we had worse players in the side during we're still in them, but the Banner eras, there was worse players, and they were playing decent football, bopping it. So these players on these wages with these respectable careers must be able to do it. Some of these players ain't. I'm not saying we don't need personnel, but some of that is down to the coaching, because one criticism I will give Emery, for as much as I like him, doesn't seem like our midfield really have a plan beyond once Xhaka receives off the centre-halves and turns and probably makes that first pass to Torreira. I don't really see mad movement. I see sideways passes. I see people trying to find the fullbacks, and obviously at times you see great individual play, but I don't really see an active attacking sort of plan. We need to fix up defensively, but I don't see that, my guy. So a bit of that is down to the coaching, to be fair with you, man, and that would be it, man. We're Arsenal Football Club. We need to improve defensively, but we play decent attacking football. Giving young players chances, attacking sort of football, and fighting for the shirt are three things that forever have to remain in this club until the day I die, the day you die, and the day God brings Judgment Day and says, you know what, football's done, I'm patting up the world and stuff. But great question. AB's asked, is that that Saliba brother any good? Heard we're linked. You sound like my friend, man. Big up my friend Kate, man. You sound exactly like him. But I believe he's decent. At the end of the day, he's 18 years of age. He's barely played for Saint Etienne, so man can't really expect fireworks from him. Of course, I would love him to hit the ground running and do his thing, and I think he's a decent defender. But he's largely inexperienced. He's going into what is a mess, and what actually at this moment in time, if we see it in pre-season, cool. But right now, we haven't seen an improvement defensively or greater emphasis on that. So how can a young guy that's young and inexperienced really thrive in a chaotic sort of system, my guy? So that would need to improve. That needs to fundamentally improve. You could sign Van Dijk or Varane or the best centre halves that people speak about in the world, and they would obviously their quality would show, but they'd come unstuck time and time again. It used to happen with Koscielny in his prime, my guy. I think he's decent, but I feel, because myself included, we're so hungry for a decent defender, that people might be putting unfair expectations with him, especially because if you believe our budget, he would be a big money signing for us. Oh, have we fallen? A big money signing for us. And people have heard of his potential, so they might place unfair expectations on him. I think he's decent, but at the end of the day, he has to show and prove, as you sound like someone who knows that. Tommy's asks, what's your thoughts on Arsenal waiting to sign players until the Adidas deal kicks in? Real or fake? My guy, I'm a fan like you, so I don't know, man. I'm seeing other people make signings. There's rumours of Martinelli and stuff, so I do think deals can be done. Obviously, it has some sort of relevance, but I don't necessarily see the correlation between waiting for these announcements and announcing players. It don't make sense for me. Obviously, I see the logic in it, but it don't make sense for me, and really, we don't know, innit? We really don't know what's happening, man. River Lads asked, with your level 2 talent ID qualification, how come you didn't do it through the PFSA? I hope I said that right. I'm doing that one. It's more expensive, but it's better apparently. It's two birds of the same feather, my guy. If you look at the modules for both, it's essentially the same thing. But I don't know. I'd look at that, I guess. I mean, I guess it came to the logistics, man. I could do that in London versus... Obviously, I believe that course has now been moved to around Barnet sides and stuff, and I'd be able to get there. But I was seeing all Manchester and that. So, logistically, financially, it just made more sense, my guy, really and truly. And it was just there, innit? Like, I remember looking on Google. In fact, I have to thank a special person, because if they didn't help me in regards to alerting me to that or possible things, I wouldn't have been able to do that course and start this year in a decent sort of fashion. So they know who they are. Shout out to them, innit? But financially, logistically, it just made more sense. I guess it boils down to that, my guy, man. No real reason beyond that. So yeah. Tavin, I don't know why, but it's doing you dirty. It's forgot your question. I'm going to find yours at the end, don't worry. Nas has asked, what's your thoughts on Wan-Bissaka to United? Now, I rate Wan-Bissaka, but the minute he puts on that United shirt, all of a sudden he's overrated. Now, agendas aside, obviously you want to make that move. It's United, it would have a pull on everyone. Obviously, they're not in the champs, it's not United of old, but it would have a pull on anyone. It's a good signing, innit? He's got potential, he can move forward. I think someone tweeted that he's on 80 grand a week. Now, I don't want to comment on that sort of thing because it's not my speciality, innit, people. But if I was him, I'd be trying to get 100 there. But it's a decent signing. There's longevity. If he can develop, he can put himself in the shop window of Southgate. Moving to United, obviously there is a big club bias when it comes to selecting players. So he can maybe a move on top of United being United. Potentially getting under the eye of the England manager a bit more could be it. Obviously, Loftus-Cheek has been liked by Southgate, but he was doing his thing at Palace. But you get where I'm going. It's a good signing for United and decent money, especially in today's day and age. 50 million, it's decent for Palace. It lets them invest their money, and on top of the money they probably had saved already for their transfer activity, it probably gives them some more room to manoeuvre. And at the end of the day, he came through the academy. He was going to always be a regular if he wasn't sold. He sold for decent money. It's a success story at Palace because he's gone from being a right winger to now playing for Manchester United. If he stayed in his position, would he have potentially got that chance at Palace and be where he is and be someone that I hope Solskjaer, with all these young players he's talking about, grows and not too much, I don't hope too much, but understand the United way and putting pride back in the fan shirts and stuff. So it's a good signing. But like I said, on a banter thing, the minute he puts on that United shirt, he's overrated, isn't it? And all of a sudden Bellerin's better than him, Maitland-Niles is better than him. Yeah, man. I'd also like to wonder what it means for Deluded, because I'd like to think he'd be used next season, but he was playing at the under-20s and he does look very inexperienced at times. He does look like he can develop into a fairly competent player for United. But I don't, as an outsider looking in, I don't feel he's personally become as competent as United probably would have hoped or developed at the rate. Maybe he goes on loan, potentially he stays for depth. Now I know United fans will crucify me for stating this name, but Ashley Young, did he not sign a new deal not too long ago? So is he going to be the backup and more not play? Obviously, if Wan-Bissaka gets injured and needs a rest, he might play. But more than anything, just a voice in the United squad and a captain and all of these sort of things. I think Deluded and Bissaka will fight it out and stuff. And it's two young fullbacks. It should be encouraging. But who knows for United's activity or what he actually wants to do, man. But that's my opinions on that anyways, man. Give me 2 secs, people, while I find the next email. Again, I was doing a madness to get this for you. I saw it, people, no. I might even go on my laptop if it carries on, people. Here we go. No. Wait, no, that is it, people. Yeah. I've looked at both emails. This is really why I should have done it on one sheet. But let's move over to YouTube comments on the... You can also, in my community page, people ask these questions as well, as long as it's in the deadline, which I'm moving over to now. Okay, here we go. This isn't so much of a question, DG, but I just wanted to say how much I enjoy your videos as well as how knowledgeable you are about football in general. That is the main reason I follow you, even though I am a Spurs fan, brackets hence the name. Shout out to you, Diabolical. Keep doing what you're doing, brother, and things like that. He's gone on to say other positive messages, and then he's gone on to P.S. I hope you lot finish below us again this season. I mean, shout out to you, my guy. Thank you very much, man. Obviously, I like to banter Spurs fans and fans in general, but when we cut the crap and be serious, you lot know I'm a fair man. I make dead shouts all the time. This ain't a dictatorship. Football teaches us. If you lot present me with new information or someone in general, then I change my opinion. But when you cut through the banter and things like that, I love football in its purest form. Don't get twisted, my G. It doesn't mean I want you lot to do well, but... yeah, man, shout out to you and thank you for your consistent support. And it means a lot being a rival fan that you took 2 seconds to take, man, in and that. So shout out to you, man. But hope you're wrong about finishing above us and them thing there. But Emery asks, should we be going for Canute instead of Saliba? My G, I'm happy with either one. Obviously, Canute's probably more experienced in terms of games played, and I like him. But I'm taking either one, man. I don't know what's in the water in France with all of their youth players, specifically centre-halves in this question. But I'm happy with either one, and let's just do this thing really and truly. BM's asked, if you could only sign one centre-half, being Saliba with potential or Izzo, forgive me for mispronunciation, with experience, who would you sign? Saliba, my guy. I know we need experienced centre-half, but for me, there's just something about Saliba, innit? Apologies, people. Give me 1 sec. There we go, people. Yeah, like I said, I'll take Saliba. Eddie's asked, since we moved to the Emirates, weren't we supposed to be competing with the big guns for signings? Yet it's the likes of West Ham, Watford, Crystal Palace, and Leicester. What's your thoughts, my guy? Same thing as you. Was told we're gonna do this, that, by Munich level, this and that, and it just hasn't been there. Financially, certain things might not have been done properly, and we are at where we're at, man. I mean, yeah, man, it is where it is. For me, as an Arsenal fan, I love my club, but it is what it is now, man. I just take every game as it comes, every day as it comes, every bit of news as it comes. No expectations, no disappointments. There'll come a day where I can really believe in my squad and certain individuals, but as much as I love this club and these players, they let man down. Excluding a few, they let man down time and time again. And to be honest with you, there's only a few players, if I was Emery, and he might even be feeling the same way too, excluding the young ones, that I'd pursue with, really and truly. In my heart, and these players have let guys down at moments as well, but if you're not Lacazette, Aubameyang, Torreira, probably Holding, Socrates, Bellerin obviously, and a couple of the others, I'm not really, if an offer comes in or whatnot, I'm not really trying to hear it, man. I love Kohler personally. I like Kolasinac, people, to be fair, but he just isn't cutting the mustard at centre-half. Xhaka's decent in the squad. I don't think he's good enough to be in the team week in, week out, and he's had good moments. I don't think he's as bad a player as people carry on, but then, man, I just feel he's not quite mobile to the level I would like a midfielder, and it shows time and time again. Mustafi is Mustafi. Less said on him, the better. And yeah, man, our best centre-halves or best performing centre-halves, excluding the boy Holding last season, is a 34-year-old centre-half whose future is up in doubt, and now a 32-year-old soccer artist. So decisions have to be made. Hopefully Saliba lands, and hopefully youth centre halves are given a chance, and or if not given a chance, developing sort of things, developing sort of programs if they're going to be loaned out. Kenneth has asked, do you think our central play under Emery has genuinely become worse, unlike under Arsene Wenger? Yes and no. I feel it's not fair on Emery because if you look at the last 2 years under Wenger or the last Europa League years, our football really deteriorated. I feel what I can place at Emery is that clearly I feel they work on offensive duels and attacking phases of play. But for me personally, beyond the individual moments of brilliance, you look at Ozil's goal against Leicester, Ramsey's against Fulham, couple other good. We've scored some very good team plays, little sharp 1-2s or moments of play. I don't feel we do that consistently. I don't feel we create chances a lot. I feel we're quite predictable. We're trying to go down that left wing and either put in a cutback cross or an overhit cross and just praying our strikers find that. I don't feel when our centre halves give it to Xhaka and he looks up, it's just sideways passes, and that's on the players as well, because they should have the bravery, but at the same time I don't necessarily feel we're playing to an optimum or there's really an attacking sort of intent. I'd love to fix defence first, but yeah, my guy, man. Elise's asked, tell me who you think we're realistically going to sign. Big ups from Canada. Shout out to you, my guy, but seeing is believing, man. I hope we sign Turney and I hope we sign Saliba, but I don't know, man. I'm a fan like you, just watching the thing. Wangu's asked, which free agent should we try to sign? Well, they've all seemed to be gone. I wouldn't mind Rabiot, but financially that wouldn't be the most prudent of signings off the top of my head. That's it, really. Alf Topper's asked, why is it that a club like Southampton can buy a player from the lower English leagues, but if the Arsenal does the same, the fans say no ambition? That's fans for you, my guy. People say France is a farmers' league and they're always wanting players from the French league. People always trying to turn people down and whatnot. That's just how fans are, my guy, and it is what it is, man. Obviously, properly speaking now, Southampton and Arsenal have two different expectations. People can say what they want about Arsenal, but why we was in the paper, because we're supposed to be league challengers, etc. Southampton aren't expected to do that. Again, no disrespect, and we're a long way away from that. But yeah, Along's asked, do you think Emery and Freddie will promote enough youth? Hopefully, my guy. It's has asked, DG, what's your thoughts on Nelson for next season? Hopefully he gets chances and he takes them, and he's still developing. He's not going to go to Hoffenheim and come back Cristiano Ronaldo, but I just want to see more improvement and I just want to ultimately see him play, man. Hopefully. Noah's asked, do you see Sam Greenwood get a chance in the first team next season? Anything can happen, and I really love Greenwood, but right now you're asking me on... Well, what's the date? Well, I'm not going to tell you the time. The 26th of June, I'd be inclined to say no, my guy. I don't think he's currently ready for such. John's asked, Jackson John, should we go for Felix Ebola or Ebola? I haven't got enough knowledge on him to give you a proper report on that. And you've also asked, should we swap Torreira for Romagnoli? I don't mind Romagnoli, but they won't entertain that in the same way we're not going to entertain nothing but peas for Torreira, at least I hope. Ayo's asked, if we haven't sold or signed a player before the American tour, do we panic? People can panic. People are panicking already. People panicking whenever. But seeing is believing, my guy, man. No expectations, no disappointments. Like to think at least one signing will be done for Emery and the gang to go off in America, because away from just being in America, that's a good opportunity for the new signings to gel with the team, because obviously they're doing the pre-season things and seeing the fans, but they're clearly doing to get like little events, like little, I don't know, it sounds dumb, but they might be doing paintballing out there or little going to restaurants and stuff. And obviously, again, like I said at the start, you can't underestimate actually liking your teammates and making man feel a part of this thing and stuff. And I feel that's the best time. Obviously on the field, tactically, technically, what the bulk of what Emery wants to try and implement going forward, he'll try and do in America. So you want them there for that. So at least hopefully in an ideal world, you'd have Turney and Saliba not loaned back, but going there in time to go to America if they're not able to play. I say not able to play because I'm sure Saliba withdrew from the Under-20s World Cup with a knock or something. I don't know what knock it was or anything. I don't think he's carrying anything, and I could be wrong, but I'm so sure I saw that on Google time ago, people. I could be wrong, so don't panic, but that's my thoughts on that. Brian's asked, do we worry about our club near and far future when you see Spurs, using the pyramid, making quality signings like Ndombele, who we should have been looking at? Well, I really can't read today, my guy, but It is what it is, man. You can't really just look. Obviously, it's frustrating when you're looking at what other clubs doing and you're looking at your club. But I don't really believe in just looking at what people are doing, because as much as I believe Ndombele is going to be one of the best midfielders one day in the world, and Spurs have made a sound investment, they're going to make that bread back. You don't know. He might flop. Like, he might flop. I thought Pogba was going to be a mad thing in the Premier, and he's still a mad thing. But you get what I'm saying. I think Ndombele under someone like Pochettino, under Pochettino, can be a super player, people. I think he's got a lot of potential. I'd have to wonder, like, because he was linked with PSG, Juventus, the rest of them. Like, what's happened there? Like, have they gone on the other targets? Because there was Madrid interest allegedly. They've went off. They've done different sort of spending. PSG seem to be doing other things. Juventus have signed Ramsey. There's talk of Pogba, even him and Real Madrid and Juventus for Pogba. And allegedly they're signing Rabiot on a free transfer. So was it just that Spurs showed intent, and Spurs have done their thing? Like I said, they're playing in the Champions League and things like that. But that's a big signing for Spurs, 60-odd million as well. They're actually in talks to get Max Clark from Leeds as well. If they leave, both these players will be doing their medicals in a not too distant future. It is what it is, man. It's sad, but all of a sudden, once he plays for Spurs, I'm not going to lie, Ndombele, I'm going to call you overrated. Like French Sissoko, even though Sissoko's been decent. But that's on a banter thing. I feel it's a good signing. Obviously, I would like a player like that and be able to spend 60-odd million on a player. But for me, if Arsenal, and again, big if we sign these defensive signings, if we improve defensively, if we do the investments we need to make and make the positive progress, then quite frankly, I'm not going to care for Ndombele, really and truly. I think he's a quality player. I think someone probably touching on the France squad and someone in Deschamps is thinking, but I'm not really going to care. I just care for being able to defend my guy, really and truly. That's why you've heard me for a time just screaming centre half, left back. I would love a winger as well as giving young G's chances. But yeah, someone else has asked a final question as well. Who has the greater potential to be a starter, Nelson, Martinelli or Saka? Not a clue, my guy, and we're just going to have to wait and see in that regards. Finally, people, let me go back via Twitter, because I do think I've answered some questions that were here given to me via Twitter, but also think I might have missed some out. Man, I tweet way too damn much, man. This is a mad thing. Oh, shout out to Brandon, because I replied to one of Brandon's tweets and I found it now. Answered that. Answered Tommy's question. Tavin, that's you asked a question and I did you dirty. What's your thoughts on Martin Odegaard? He's had a great season with Vitesse and now he could go on loan to Bayern Leverkusen or Sociedad. Well, this is the danger of hyping players. Obviously, when you make that move to Madrid and it doesn't happen straight away because he's still young and people talk like he's washed up. People say what they want. He needed to find a club that would give him chances. He needed a club that would have found him love. Maybe he didn't have the best of advisors, and to be honest, training at Madrid probably improved him as a player because of the environment and training with stars at the time. But would it have been better? Maybe. Ironically, he's been linked with Ajax as well. Going to an Ajax as a young G, developing, learning your craft. These moves will come if you work hard in things and you pray you stay clear of injuries. These moves will come, and I feel, at least as me growing up in my 24 years of age, that's one thing I saw change in football. I used to think it was a level. I'm seeing it with management now. Man are just retiring and getting the next job the next day, innit? But I used to see levels in it. You don't need to always go through one level to advance to the next. But I used to see a thing where, I don't know, a man will come through, no disrespect, but he'll come through, I don't know, a Barnsley. He might get a move to a Arsenal or United or something, or a club like that, innit? He'll earn his stripes. He'll play to a mad consistent form, and then it's the Madrid thing, similar to Cristiano Ronaldo. Young G with potential, done his thing at Sporting Lisbon, done his thing at United, went to Madrid, 80 million, looks like a shed now, innit? Nowadays, man, I'm not doing the United thing to develop, because obviously United's not a developing club. Obviously they bring through academies, but they're not a farm, innit? They're not a club that develops players just to sell them on and keep afloat. That's what I mean by a farm, innit? United weren't that, but they did that. Now man are skipping, in that example, people, now man are skipping out the United thing. Man are just seeing that a young G has potential and he's going from A to C. He's not doing the B thing. No one wants to miss out on the next star. So man are signing players, loaning them out. Obviously, if they don't make it, they can still make a prof. Unfair expectations with social media and all these clips. It's a mad environment. I'd said this in the last vid. Potential, and I'm a victim. I'm guilty of it as well. Potential's the biggest buzzword, people. All of these players we're now starting to see that's gone for mad fees. It's all for potential's potential. You can sit here and name all these players. It's not about paying for the finished article anymore. It's all about paying for what the player can be, marketability wise, and all them things. Look at Mbappe. Like I said, one day Mbappe's a baller and he deserves to be where he is. He's quality for me, world class, one of the best in the world already, and he's only going to get better. But he skipped steps. Do you get it, people? In an ideal world, he would have had to really done dirt and earned his craft and scored a ridiculous amount of goals statistically, more than he's already done before that big move. Now people are understanding he's one of them that, like Messi, was born to kick ball, but it was the potential. PSG didn't want to miss out, so they spent the 200 odd million, and like I said, commercially and all these things, they're going to pay that back, because he's going to be one of the most special of players to have ever... What's even one of the most greatest, I'm about to say specialist, one of the most greatest of players to ever kick ball. But right now, he's not worth 250 million if we cut the crap. The last player I believe was honestly worth it was Ronaldo, because at the time, he was worth that. Van Dijk and these sort of players, Van Dijk's a baller, and at the end of the day, people shush about the price tag. People got me confused when I said Liverpool, it shows intent, but he's not worth that. I don't believe he's worth that fee. I feel Ronaldo is genuinely the last player worth that. But that's nothing against Van Dijk. He's a quality player. If you're signed for £2 or however much million Van Dijk signed, if you're a quality player, truly a quality player, you'll hit the ground running. Van Dijk's a quality player. He finally got the platform, and on top of Liverpool improving defensively, he's become a linchpin in that side with Alisson, the two fullbacks, and him really and truly. And when you do your thing, people shut up about your price tag. Obviously not. Van Dijk's not the best example, but could you imagine if he went Liverpool and it didn't happen, people? Someone would probably come out in the paper and say he's not focused, he's doing the fashion thing, his ponytail means he's not a good defender. He's maybe, even though he does, I don't even see him talk on social media. He's talking too much on social media. You know how fans are, chatting too much on social media. When you're playing, no one cares, people. Have you noticed when players are in bad form, you see these stories come out and people, I don't believe in it, but trying to dig in a man's personal life and all them sort of things there, people. That's only when you really see that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anyone else's questions out though. Oh, some smart guy called Bradley Johnson said to shut up in the things. You're tough. Hey, you're tough. Your mum must watch my video. You're tough, man. You're telling people, swearing on the internet. You're tough, right? Damn, man, I'm scared of you, nigga. Crazy ass guy, bro. But like I said, people, Deluded, thank you very much for the Q&A. I'm out, man. Thank you very much for the questions.